Hello and welcome to the MO-Wiff 3 Up 3 Down podcast. I'm your host, Cam Smith, Commissioner of Missouri Wiffle Ball League, and I'm joined by my co-host, the new captain of the Archers, Rory Rank. Rory, how are you doing tonight, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Cam. It's good to be back. It's been a couple months off, and I'm ready, man. This season's right around the corner.
Absolutely. Happy New Year to everyone. We're a little over halfway through January already, and it's starting to become that time. It's starting to look a little more like wiffle ball season. We got a lot going behind the scenes. We are coming up on a couple big events here coming up in the next couple of weeks, which we will get into towards the end of this podcast. We're going to start off, though, with this episode. We're going to talk about, what's kind of been going on, what's new in the off season. We have two new franchises that we're going to get into with the Purge and the Kings. And then our second topic tonight, we're going to talk about all of the free agency frenzy that we've had, all the player movement that's gone on. There's quite a bit this year,
Yeah,
a lot of big turnover. And then we'll end up this podcast with some of our rookie tryout and draft information. So if you're new to the league or you know people who might be interested, stick around to the end to find out some of that information. If you haven't seen a bunch of that on our social media already, but you'll get some more inside information here tonight. Rory, I know it's been a long time, but we're finally back. Are you ready to just get right on into it?
yeah, I'm ready, man. It's the fourth season of MO-Wiff, and
Ooh.
it's my third, and it just seems like time flies when you're having fun, and this league is a ton of fun. So I'm ready, man. Let's bring it on.
I
2024.
I can't believe this is season 4 already. Season 4 in 2024 and the first episode of 3 Up, 3 Down in season 4. Here we go with our
Yep.
first up is our two new franchises. All right, we're going to start with the Purge, since they were kind of a team last year. Uh, Tom Wilkerson is going to be leading this team. This team is formerly the Empire. Uh, Josh Rogers stepped down last year. Tom took over, did a great job. Not only running the Empire, but also just helping a ton with the league and everything that he does for us. So he gets to lead this Purge team. First off, Rory, what do you think about the name and the logo of the Purge?
Yeah, I love that. I love the name and the logo, and there's so many things you can do to play off that franchise name. It's got a lot of potential. I love what he did with the colors and the logo, and Tom really put together a really cool effect for his new team, man. And it really fits, I think, for kind of the crew he's assembled too. They're
Yeah,
they're kind of the new young guys, and they're ready to knock on a few doors and surprise some people.
I like that. That's a good
Yeah.
little reference there. I'm big Purge fans, like of the movies and the show. Um, I do. I love the logo. I know we messed around and me and him were kind of like throwing some ideas back and forth about team names and ideas. And when he sent this one, I was just like, man, that just looks good. I love the wiffle
Mm.
ball
Yep.
focused in on like the logo is the wiffle ball, and I love that. And it's got like the eyes as the X's, which kind of resemble like the cuts, like we have in like good. We play a lot of cut ball style, which most of the guys throw here.
Yep. Yep.
So it really just tied everything together, and like just I felt like it was a real good look for this team. I like the fact that the color scheme is different from like everybody else's that we've had. No more of
Yes.
like the same colors that everybody's
Right.
had. No more
Right.
red and blue. Like I feel like
Yeah.
we've had that was all the talk. Um,
Yes.
so I do love that he's gonna go. It's gonna be very interesting to see, what they do with their jerseys. I think there's some good minds brewing in that clubhouse. Brian Hunter, formerly with you guys, he had a guy that
Yep.
designed the Archers jerseys last year. So I'm sure like these Purge jerseys are gonna come out looking pretty fresh. Comes
Oh yeah.
come opening day. It'll be interesting to see how many. And I know there's talks of two, possibly three different jerseys for them.
Wow.
But I
Wow.
think I think you have a really cool color scheme that you can do a lot with, and something that's going to be different from the rest of the league, which I think will stand out too.
Yeah, I mean, and and I'm excited to see what they have. Brian, he did a good job designing the Archers jerseys for us last year, and
Yeah.
it was a really good color scheme, I thought, and I'm sure he's going to put forth some input on that. But so to kind of move into this, Tom, he joins the league last year, and he just seems like a perfect fit for a guy who is capable of running a team. He's done a lot for the league in his first year, and he stepped up and added a lot of little cool elements to our league. So he's well deserving of his own team, and he puts out a ton of content and he's active. He was super active in trades, and he's recruited a lot of people and or tried to recruit a lot of people in businesses even to help sponsor league. So
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think he's going to be a great franchise captain manager, and looking forward to see the team in 2024.
Yeah, he really fits that, that GM manager role, I think, really, really well. Um, it will be interesting, to see how he handles the team, and we'll get into it here in just a sec. But I mean, he's got a fairly young team, but also has a couple of veterans on the team, which it'll be interesting to see how they all mix, and maybe that'll help them. Maybe it won't. Who knows? I guess we'll see on the field, but I'm sure that this team will be a pretty decent team coming into next year. But let's talk about the roster real quick. So obviously we have
Sure.
Tom at the head. He's got his son Colin. I almost mixed the two up.
Right.
Colin Wilkerson, uh, Caleb Schweigert, Greg Thornton, and Brian Hunter right now. Um, One sec. Um, you know, let's start with the reigning rookie of the year, Caleb Schweigert, on this team. You know, I think if you're looking to build a franchise, there's very few guys in the league that you want this to be, and he is up at the top of that list. Fireball pitcher, he's going to give you a lot of innings. He's going to strike a lot of guys out. Um, the guy you want as your ace, your number one on the mound, it's Caleb.
Yeah, I mean, he just came into the league throwing mid 90s, and he just kept getting better. I mean, I had the unfortunate um, thing of not facing him all year until the playoffs, and I would have loved to face him the regular season just to kind of get it down, or at least be able to see what 94 out of his hand looks
Yeah.
like, because I think that's what his first pitch to me was right off the bat, and it's fast, and I don't like it when he's dialed in, and unfortunately, he was dialed in that championship game. But I agree with you 100%. I said it last year in the draft. He's the guy you build your team around, and although he didn't stick with the original team that drafted him, he is now basically the anchor for the Purge, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Colin is a solid number two pitcher. You saw him progress a ton, especially towards the end of the year when he got switched over and traded to the Mojo. You pair him with Sam Skibby and Jackson Crosley and all those guys in the SWBL who have all that experience. He got to learn a lot, and you really saw him start to throw a lot more strikes
Yep.
and really start to throw, more full games with a lot less runs given up. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he can do in his second year, because I'm thinking he's only going to improve as well. A great 1-2 punch already to start the season going in. They also have the number one overall pick. So like who
Yep.
can they pair? Can they grab? Like I'm sure they're gonna grab another pitcher, and cool. Now you got three guys. Yeah, obviously Caleb not living here, won't be here every week, but he's gonna be here a lot. I'm assuming, and
Yep.
you're gonna have three guys in that rotation that can give you innings, and two of them that are already fastly improving as 1-year players.
Yeah, absolutely. And Colin, just to touch back on that, Colin last year, we knew he was good, and we knew he had a lot of potential, and we knew he could grow into a great pitcher, and he just is still on that progression level of getting better and better and better. He could potentially be as good as Caleb if he,
Yeah.
just kind of eliminates some walks in here and there. But 1A and 1B all day with those two guys pitching. There's definitely not much weakness once they find the zone.
Yeah, absolutely. And not two of the best hitters, but that's, going to come with any true wiffle ball
Rookie.
player rookie. Like
Yeah.
that's just that it's hard. It's hard. You're not used to seeing it. It's hard to pick up. They're only going to get better. They've shown signs of, that they can hit. Like Caleb, I know, hit a home run off Spencer last year. Colin hit one
Yep.
off a rear.
Yep.
They can hit. It's just going to be, can they limit those strikeouts and really start putting the ball in play more? But they have two guys behind them who are veterans in this game, and Greg Thornton and Brian Hunter coming
Yep.
over. Obviously, Greg was traded to the Empire last year. He sticks around. Brian coming over from the Archers. You got to play with him last year. Both of these guys, sneaky good bats. Greg Thornton is, he I don't remember exactly where he's at, but he's up towards the top in
He
that
sure is.
RBI and home run categories. Like that guy, sneaky power. He's taken me deep, in the playoffs even.
Yep.
And then Brian Hunter, you saw what he did in the championship game last year with those 2 home runs, and all through the season he's always having good at bats. So, two good veteran bats to teach these young guys how to hit, I think could be a huge key for them.
Yeah, and then in this game, all it takes is one, and both Brian and Greg have proven they can be that guy that delivers the one home run that seals the game for you. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, I
yeah,
mean, Tom's building a team that I would think one with managerial mindset would build, and that's 2 aces, 2 guys that can hit, and you never know what can happen then.
yeah, exactly. And let's talk about their expectations a little bit. What do you kind of feel like their expectations are for this, fairly young but also veteran team?
Yeah, I mean, my expectations, it's not a game that you're going to want to go in and hit against those guys if Caleb and Colin are both there. But at the end of the day, you know that if they can't hit, you do have a chance. So if Caleb and Colin both improve and take their hitting to the next level, expectations would be you don't want to see them in the playoffs most likely, because
Yeah.
that's kind of the downside is you better have your offensive game on point when you're facing them.
Yeah, I think, the biggest like expectations for me them is can they improve, especially at the plate? And
Yep.
the expectation for me is this is a playoff caliber team with especially with this pitching that they have. But are they going to be able to really win a lot of games, especially, early on in the season when everybody's trying to get into it? I think that's going to be the key for them. I think the biggest thing for this team going into the year is you look at this lineup, and from last year and even prior years from some of these other guys is you see a lot of strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb broke the record last year for most strikeouts in a single season.
Yep.
But at the same time, with this dominant pitching staff, these guys all love to swing the bat and they all have powerful swings. The strikeouts may not matter if they connect on
Right.
one ball. If they
Yep.
connect and any one of these guys, even Tom, gets one out of the park,
Yeah.
and they're in a 1-0 game with Caleb on the mound, they could win any game hands
Yeah.
down. Like that's almost, what you're kind of looking for in wiffle ball is who can hit the home run, not who can put together, 3 or 4 base hits in a row.
Exactly. Yeah, we kind of didn't really talk about Tom, but Tom will be playing, I assume. And
Yeah,
Tom proved last year he can fill in when he needs to pitch, and he can be a person at the plate that delivers that big hit. So yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
He's
you don't
gotten
want to
hits off
sleep on
me.
that either. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, he can get it done when needed. So I mean, the purge having that number 1 overall pick is kind of that wild card part
Yeah.
that we'll see what they do with it, because it could prove to put this team at the very top of everyone's power rankings.
Yeah, it's going to be very fun to see this team. I think they're going to do well. They're going to be a tough team to play against every single week. I'm really looking forward to seeing the Purge out there in 2024. All right, let's start talking about the second new franchise in MO-Wiff, the MO-Wiff Kings. And Nick Bone, my former teammate and, first time All-Star last year. Nick Bone is now the captain of this team, and one thing that I really love about, Nick Bone taking over this team before we kind of get into the team is the homage that he's paying here to his dad and their former team, the Lakeside Kings. They got the purple and gold look. I know, like, we know the Mambas have, that Lakers color scheme. This one's kind of be a little bit different. But at the same time, it's such a great tribute, to his dad, who we all know and love, and he's always at the fields, cheering on Nick and
Oh
whatever
yeah.
team he's on. But
Yep.
just a cool, yeah, a cool nod uh, to that team that his dad used to play for long ago, that really got, Nick into wiffle ball, and that whole family really. But as sad as I am to lose Nick on my team,
Yeah.
uh, it's not the first time I've been through this. Lost Andrew after year one, and now I'm losing Nick. Uh, I guess I should just stop producing, good players or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, you do it, but you do it for the betterment of the league, and I hear you. Yeah, you've definitely given up some some good talent to expand the league, and we appreciate it, and the league appreciates it. But yeah, the Kings, that harkens back to a much earlier time in wiffle ball and in St. Louis wiffle ball in general.
Yeah.
These guys put St. Louis wiffle ball on the map. I think that's pretty well known for most old school wiffle ballers. And yeah, I loved it. I loved it when he decided to go with the Kings. Jerome Coyle, Lakeside Kings. A lot of people don't know this. Was producing aluminum wiffle ball bats,
Yep. He's still
and
got one.
yeah, they're out there. The Kings, I believe it was called the Ledge Sledge and the King Stick. So I don't
Yep.
know if Nick will
Yep.
be using a King Stick, but the unmistakable sound of hitting a wiffle ball with the aluminum bat, man, I love it and I miss it, and I hope they bring that back a little bit. So
He got it. He got a walk off hit against me in year one in the
with the
playoffs with
nice.
that. Actually, I don't remember who it was. Might have been Jake. It should have been fielded. It was an error or something, and extra innings, bases loaded. But hey, it got the job done. That's all that matters. Uh,
Nice.
Luckily, it didn't eliminate us, um, but still, I'm very excited for Nick.
Sure.
I think he really deserves this. The time and effort that he puts into wiffle ball, really comes second to pretty much no one.
Right.
Just like me and the rest of us and the that are captains in front office and some of the players as well. Like, he puts just as much time into this as everybody. I see him practicing all the time. I think it was Christmas Eve. We had that nice weather. The Kings were out there already practicing. I mean,
Wow.
this
Yeah.
team is, that's what Nick Bone brings, especially with this team. And we'll get into the roster here in a sec. But uh, first time manager, but in MO-Wiff, but not necessarily a first time manager. The guy's been playing wiffle ball for a long time. He's
Right.
led the Boneheads in the last two MO-Wiff tournaments. Who they've all done. Those teams have done really well in that tournament. So no stranger to leading a team, and he's got the experience of his dad behind him as well. I'm sure he'll play a big part in this team, but very excited for Nick and to see what he can do with this team.
Yeah, I'm super excited for Nick too. Going from the Bombers, it's gonna hurt you a little bit, honestly. Because
Yeah.
that's
Oh
this
yeah.
Nick has been such a reliable guy. You can throw him at when you need to, and he's man. I really felt that he started off the season so hot last year. People probably have forgotten over time, but Nick was crushing right at the beginning of the year last year. There wasn't much a
Yeah. Oh yeah.
pitcher could sneak by him. And
Yep.
so he deserves it. Nick deserves his own team. Like you said, he's ran the Boneheads in the MO-Wiff tournament, and he's ran them well. He's put it all on the line for him too. 2 years ago, the kid pitched his heart out. So,
Yeah.
it's something that the game is in him, and he loves it. And I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see how far he takes him.
Yeah. And not only that too is I love their logo. Jason did
Oh
a
yeah,
great job with that. Um, Nice, clean look. Um, it looks really good on their merch. I've seen a couple of hats and hoodies that they've already gotten, and I'm a huge fan. I'm a sucker for it. Actually, in the Kings was actually one of the names towards the top of my list when I was deciding on
Oh,
the Bombers in year one. So
nice.
cool to see that the team name is in and love where it's going already. So
For sure. Yeah.
uh,
He's got a nice setup going on there.
yeah. Let's get into the roster. Obviously, led by Nick Bone. Uh, last year, uh, 3 rookies now on this team.
Yep.
Dustin Hitchcock coming over from the Thunderbirds,
Yep.
signing a huge deal with them. Multi-year. I think it was like 4 or 5 years, which I love. These two are
Yep.
best friends. Like this is what you want. You want to play with your guy.
You got it. You got
It
it.
can be fun. Another good hitter. He's shown towards the end of last year that he can throw a little bit. If he needs to give you innings, he can.
Yep.
And he was getting better and better. But a great bat. So you got 2 good bats already there. Justin Hall comes over with him from the Bombers. Played with them on the Boneheads last year. And one thing I love about this so far, this team makeup is, and you'll see it as we go on, it's the chemistry of this team. All these
Oh yeah.
guys know each other well, and that's only going to help you play better, especially with the talent and the growing talent that this team has. Justin Hall, uh, now these 2 guys aren't going to be fighting each other for a number 2 spot. They're going to be, hey, we're 1 and 2 now. They're going to get opportunities to really show what they can do, and they're going to get more innings this year. And I think
Oh yeah.
that's even going to help them a ton. Justin's going to, be able to throw more and find that strike zone a little bit more. And he's got a good guy, Nick, who can help him get there as well. Nick learned a lot from me and picked it up quickly. And towards the end, I didn't really have to do much. Like I just trusted Nick to go out there and do that. So a great guy to learn from will be Nick. And I think Justin will take steps forward this year as well. Then they also bring over Jake Wilson, who was on the
Mhm.
Bombers with us at the beginning of last year. Um, you know, a sneaky good player. He can also give you innings on the mound. But he showed quite a few times last year where he can put the ball over the fence. Uh,
Yeah.
you, you
Yeah.
know, we brought him in last year. I told him when we drafted him, hey, I don't know how much you're going to play because you're our 6th guy, but I feel like you were good enough to be in the league. And that was a big reason why I kind of traded him to the Empire. I was like, dude, I don't feel like I can use you because like I have my guys, and we are running it back from a championship, and I just didn't have that extra room. But I was like, I feel like you should be hitting more. And he got to go over with Tom, and he got to hit more, and
Yep.
he showed that he could be a hitter. And I
Yeah.
mean, and these guys are always working too, so it's nice.
Yeah, I think Wilson, definitely he played way above expectation in 23. No doubt about it, and like you said, I remember when you talked last year about that, you told him, hey, I think got a lot of room, but try to get in where you fit in, and he kind of forced himself on the field. You love to see
Yeah,
that, it almost made it impossible to sit him because the guy's delivering home runs
yeah,
and he's hitting bombs. But just to go back, I agree with you on Justin Hall. You actually kind of lost 2 good players. You talked about Nick
yeah,
Bone, but
yeah. I know.
you
I
you,
lost
you
both my
losing
pitchers.
losing Justin Hall hurt. You got a good deal on him in the draft, and I'm going to say it. I think Justin Hall is one of the most underrated guys in
I
MO-Wiff.
agree. I agree.
I
You saw
mean,
it. You saw it. He was throwing no hitters last year
yeah,
towards the end of the season when he was getting better and when he can throw the strike
yeah,
zone or throw strikes and hit the strike zone, like he can be a guy that he can be an ace, like that no
uh,
doubt about it.
absolutely hides the ball well. It's tough to see out of his hand, and it's got good movement. And then the other thing that he did last year consistently was delivered in clutch moments.
Yeah,
He delivered some big time home runs when your team needed it,
yep.
and he never shied away from any type of challenge. And the guy's wiffle ball. I mean,
Yeah, big
the guy
big
is,
hustle guy.
yeah. One thing that nobody remembers is he almost made the play of the year jumping over the outfield fence. It
That's what
was
I'm saying.
real close. Yeah.
Big time hustle guy. The guy
Big
will
hustle. Yes. Yes.
100% all the time. He's gonna
Yes.
give you his all, and he's gonna
Yep.
he's gonna put his butt on the line every time. Like
Yeah.
that was proven.
Yes.
Uh,
Proven.
no, it does suck losing both these guys. I was so happy when I was able to draft him last year, but I talked to both of these guys
Hmm.
before we had are in the process of making this decision to give Nick his team. it was kind of my idea to say, hey, um, which again, me looking out for like the betterment of the league, I was like,
Sure.
you guys work so well together. And I
Right.
feel like you guys fit very well together. I can kind of bring in, other guys to help me. I feel like I can handle, a team, pitching staff kind of by myself and mold other younger guys. As much as it sucks losing these two, I just feel like them two as a 1-2 pitching staff and like their chemistry just I was like, I feel like if you guys don't want to, don't, but it might be a good idea for you guys to go there together and
Sure.
and really start this team together. And they were both, really on board with it. And then obviously playing on the Boneheads together in the tournament, that's kind of really when we were talking about it all. And it was just kind of a no-brainer for them. And, I think that's just gonna make them so much better.
Yeah.
And all these guys live close together. They've already been practicing. And then you throw on Mike Flores,
Yep.
who people probably forget him and Nick Bone were teammates in year one on the Empire.
Right.
Uh, and I feel like Mike Flores is a very underrated player. And I think he's going to get a little bit more shine here on this team because a couple bad years for the Empire. And Mike was kind of all they had at times.
I
Um,
know.
and you saw it at the end of 22 in season 2. Mike was one of the hottest hitters in the league at the end of the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. I
and
remember that.
and it was fun to watch, and they made it into the playoffs that year. And um obviously didn't have the pitching in the playoffs, but they were able to get there. And Mike really stood out there, and it'll be interesting to see if he can bounce back to that. I mean, obviously last year there was a lot going on with the Empire, weren't doing well, weren't going to make the playoffs, and it was just kind of one of those things where
Yeah.
when you're losing that much, it's hard to really produce on the field. But now a fresh new start, I think it's going to do great things for Mike and for the rest of this team. I think their chemistry again is going to be, very, very good and very helpful for this team.
Yeah, I agree. Mike is he's going to be able to, like you said, he's been a critical part of the Empire. He's going to be able to take his game and elevate it on a team, a young team, and no matter what, those guys are going to have fun. So, looking forward to Mike Flores having his chance to be a part of something that is maybe more exciting than the last couple years with the Empire that he's had.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's going to be fun to watch for sure.
definitely
Um, Expectations for this team. I mean, I feel like they don't have. I feel like they don't have a ton of expectations. I feel like this is a team that's going to
right.
be able to come out and play as a group of friends. And I think, a lot of people aren't expecting them to be, a top tier team. They don't have a Caleb or a Jordan or a me on the mound, but you got two guys that can throw, and a lot of people are underestimating you. I feel like the expectations are kind of low from other people. I'm sure they're high for themselves, but um, I don't expect this team to come out every night and roll over. I feel like they're going to put up a
No, they're
fight
not
each
going
and
to do
every
that
week for sure.
for sure. I
I
agree
mean,
with
I've
that.
I've gotten to play with these guys, and they love
Yep.
the game, and they're going to put work in and only get better. So I'm very excited to see.
Yep. Same here.
All right, let's hop into our next segment. Now that we've been talking about all these rosters and player changes, let's get into our next topic, our player movement. And Roy, let's start with your team, the Archers. We're going to go in alphabetical order here. So we'll start with your
All
team,
right.
the Archers. Big news of the offseason is Jordan Smith stepping down, and you get to take over. Give us a little insight information on how that occurred and what happened behind the scenes there with the Archers.
There's not a whole lot to talk about other than just the fact that I think Jordan just kind of wants to play, and I didn't mind stepping into that manager role to kind of give him the ability to focus on playing. Being a manager is kind of exhausting sometimes. You're
It
looking
can
at doing
be.
different things. It can be so, and I didn't blame him at all. He approached me and said, "Is this something you'd want to do?" And I said, "Yeah, let's do it." And I totally look at it like we're still just co-managing this thing. I go to Jordan
Absolutely.
all the time for opinions and stuff like that. And I love playing with Jordan. I don't think there's that's hidden on anybody. He's a good player, he's a great player. And I mean, it's just like, hey, focus on playing, do what you want to do, whatever it takes to keep him at the top of his game, because the archers go as Jordan goes. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, he's that guy. He is that
Yeah,
guy.
he's that guy.
Uh, back-to-back MVP.
Yeah.
Not gonna hurt him. Taking his mind off the logistics of it and being able to focus on playing. Only gonna
Yeah.
make him better, I think.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the two big moves. Everybody saw
Yeah.
it coming. One of the hottest free agents in
Yeah.
MO-Wiff history. I'm sure his phone was blowing up. I know I texted him.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of texted him that morning even though we kind of all knew it was a long shot. But you land Tony Cochran to start out free agency. You guys have been friends for a long time, playing together for a long time. How big is that for the Archers?
Yeah, that's big. And I want to go back to me and Jordan making the switch. I approached Jordan with my idea on how I wanted to see the Archers play in 24, and he kind of agreed that it would be an interesting method. And I mean, it shouldn't be lost on anybody now. The Archers, the only way that we had any negotiating power was to entice batting four. So the Archers plan on batting four majority of the time this year, and we're going to focus on getting the best four people on the field at all times. Period. And I know what makes Tony tick, and that is at bats, the limelight, and he can step into that and swing away. We're going to roll with four. We're going to put the best four out there and see how it goes. That's essentially how I was able to bring Tony and Jay Rich over. And like I said, I know what they like. I know what they bring to the table, and we're going to go with it. So
yeah, and I don't think that was any surprise either,
no,
especially after hearing the Tony news of seeing Jay Rich come over. Third team in 3 years for Jay Rich. He was on the Mojo, he was on the Thunderbirds,
yeah,
playing alongside Tony last year, and now getting to play alongside you and Tony, and of
the
course
journeyman.
Jordan. This is one of those teams that everybody is looking at after the free agency dust has settled, and definitely a uh, early on favorite for next year with the amount of talent that you guys have. Not only do you
Yeah.
have Jordan from last year, but you're bringing over Tony and Jay Rich, and you are getting healthier as time goes
Yep.
on as well. So that'll be interesting. But and obviously you still have Ethan Bailey, which is going to be huge whenever he comes in
Yep.
town. And then we'll see what you can do in the draft. But definitely a scary four right off the bat, and even five when Ethan is there for sure.
Yeah, and Ethan, he's kind of a part-time guy, so we definitely don't want to count him out, because when he's there, he will be on the field. He will be at the plate. The guy has proven his worth, and I was super excited to play with Ethan last year. The guy just blew me out of the water with how well he came into the league and began bashing, and his pitching was phenomenal. I mean, for a rookie who's never been around that really style of gameplay, he really did a good job. But yeah, I want to go back to the free agent thing real quick. Um, Anyone should want to play with an MVP. So
Yeah, absolutely.
what I underestimated as a manager was my phone began blowing up in some aspect,
Yeah, I'm sure
and
it did.
so I had more options than I realized. And batting four is still something we're going to do, but we could have batted seven, and I
Oh
think our
yeah.
team would be even scarier.
I think, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, even if you do, guys, decide you draft a player and want to hit five, if you want to, even just a
sure,
couple
and we
games here
may.
and there, you're
Yeah,
still gonna be dangerous. Like you're
yeah,
still gonna have a top tier lineup and a top tier pitching staff. I mean, and that's one of the big things going into the years. You're giving Jordan a little leeway here on the mound. It doesn't have to
that's right.
throw
That was
every inning now to
yeah,
get you guys in the playoffs. Having Tony, having Jay Rich, having Ethan,
correct.
having you
Yeah,
possibly back on the mound, gives him a
I
little bit
will
of
be back.
rest for
Yeah,
going into the playoffs this year. So it'll be
correct. The
fun.
method was Jordan at the plate more, Jordan on the mound potentially less. We
There you
want to
go.
rely less on Jordan on the mound. We want his bat up as many times as possible.
There you go. That's a key to success right there. So all
Absolutely.
right, let's jump to the Bombers. My team obviously have Jake and Paul back. Um, and then adding Tommy Dwyer and Sam Gildahouse. Obviously, we had Tommy last year in a trade, which was kind of a big trade for me. Tommy needed a change of scenery, needed something different to look and get excited about. And I think that fire kind of sparked, and he found something playing on a contending team and had a
Yep.
lot of fun at the end of the season. And he's like, yeah, let's run this back. I want to play on the Bombers again. And I was pushing hard for it because I really love having the kid on my team. I think he's a young star in this game.
Sure.
One of the prettiest swings. I can hit the ball hard.
Yep.
I feel like I can help him on the mound, and I was excited about that. And I think that was a big reason why I brought Sam Gildahouse over as
Sure.
well. As those two guys are friends, and Sam he had shown signs that he could be a good player as well last year. His pitching, there were signs where he could throw the ball hard. He just wasn't as accurate, but when he was accurate, there was games he pitched a great game against us until the bottom of the fifth inning or top of the fifth inning when he walked a couple guys and gave up a grand slam. But they had a 2-0 lead,
Yes.
through 4 innings. Like he can shut teams out if he learns how to throw strikes. And I feel like now he is on the perfect place to do that. I've had a little bit of experience with that before, so very
Yep.
excited to work with these two young guys who absolutely love this game, and that's what I love. I love guys like that on my team.
You've
That
got to
was
love it.
exactly how Nick Bone was. That's exactly how Justin Hall was. These guys just love playing wiffle ball and want to get
Yep.
better, and I feel like those kind of guys pick up a little bit faster and really just learn the game, and you tweak a couple things, and we've already been working. So very excited to have both of these guys on the Bombers going forward.
Yeah, and just to touch on that again, friendship is a good currency to have in free agency, and knowing that Tommy and Sam were friends, we kind of
Yeah,
assumed that would be the way it goes. But like you said, those guys, they love wiffle ball, and
yeah,
I'll take a guy who loves wiffle ball all day because he's going to get better. It's the way it is, and
yeah,
yeah, I'm sure you're going to work with Sam and Tommy both on the mound, and they're going to come out even better than they were last year. And last year they were really surprising how well they put together some good games. Again, Tommy and Sam both proved that they can pitch, both prove they can hit. They just keep getting better and better. No
yep.
reason to
And
think anything other than that.
neither of them has to be a number one on the mound or
Correct.
a number one at the plate. So it's going to be huge. And again, like we said with the Kings earlier, it's the chemistry of this team. I feel like it's going to be very, very good.
Sure.
Obviously, like we always have fun, and I've been talking to Jake, and we have a couple fun things planned already for this year that I'm very excited to break out once the season gets going. That I think a couple people will be
Nice.
pretty excited to see, and maybe I think some teams will follow suit with a couple things of their own. So it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, good. And I just want to say it's good to see the Bombers brought back Paul Pugh.
Oh yeah,
You
your
know,
character of the year for sure.
absolutely. And I haven't seen a fan base that upset since the Cardinals trade away Harrison Bader.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
a fan favorite. We can't
yeah.
get rid of him. So you brought him back. It's good to know.
And
And
sneaky good numbers too. I mean, Paul is
absolutely, Paul can
he's
play.
improved every year
Yeah,
and put up
sure,
good numbers. So it
sure.
wasn't a question of that I want to have him back. It was a question of he kind of wanted to see where he could go, what he could do, and ultimately we decided that best fit for him is where he's been a 2-time champ before, and let's see if we can get a
Right
third.
back home. Yeah, I
Yep,
don't think everybody should test that free agency thing. I think as
it's
this
fun.
league
It's fun.
progresses, it's a fun time, and that's
It's
what
fun
this is
for
about.
us. Fun
It's
for the
fun.
managers. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's not talk about the Mambas because
Yeah.
no player movement there. Same five, so I'm
Yep.
sure we'll talk about the Mambas, after the draft, if when what they do there. But
Sure.
only big thing there is a 2-year deal for James Dutton. I think is huge for them. So he stays put for 2 years. That's big
Yep.
for them.
I was going to say, just to add, I actually had that in my notes. I don't blame them. I don't think they needed to do anything.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
They're a great team,
Yeah.
and if they can add
Yes.
somebody in the draft, like huge. I
Correct.
mean, it's a scary team, and if Dutton didn't have to miss, where they had to kind of schedule, he was going to miss a game in the playoffs. If they had him there the whole time, that series could have been different. It
Correct.
may not have been, but it could have been.
Could have been.
So still a scary good team
Yeah.
that's going to be
Yeah.
good next year. All right, let's
Absolutely.
get into the defending champions, the Melonheads.
Okay.
Quite a bit of turnover here, a lot of bit of change. Um, Obviously, you still have Jason, you still have Jimmy, you still have Spencer. But two big additions now. You have the former captain of the Pilots, Adam North,
Yep.
and bringing over, from the Archers / Empire / Archers, Tony Saggio.
Yeah.
Uh, Again, I think this is going to be an all fun team, and also hasn't been posted yet. It'll be posted coming, but you heard it here first if you're listening on the podcast.
Ooh, breaking.
Ryan Brown has re-signed with the Melonheads, and it looks like he'll
He's
be here
back.
for as much time as he can. So a full / part-time role. He might miss a couple games, but should be here for most of the season. So again, this is going to be an all fun team like they always are, and you're
Yep.
adding a guy like Tony Saggio to that team. It's gonna
Man.
be some fun nights at the field, that's for sure.
Gonna miss me some Tony Saggio, man. The
Yeah, I
glue
bet.
guy. Loved
Yeah,
playing with
absolutely.
him. Love playing with him. He's a great guy, and man, he's a great teammate. But here's the thing: I'll say I'm gonna call it here. I had a good call last year with Jordan for the MVP. Turned out to be true. Tony Saggio could replace me then 24 for the Gold Hands Award.
Yeah, there
Guy
you
is
go.
a guy is a monster in the field. I'm telling you, he made some great plays last year. Turns a couple double plays, makes some more home run robs.
Yeah.
He could win this award very
Yep.
easily.
Guy's a good player, getting better, growing, and an all-time fun guy to have at the field. Look out for him for character of the year. I think he was
Oh yeah.
I think he was the runner-up last year, but definitely
Oh yeah.
always a guy I love seeing at the field. So and then
Definitely.
and obviously Adam North to this lineup improves their lineup. I think
Oh yeah.
better than their lineup was last year, which
Yeah.
is scary. They won the championship last year. Obviously, they had Caleb, they lost Caleb, but still have Jason and Spencer and two pretty good. Those are two pretty good pitchers. Um,
Yeah.
and now their lineup just got better. So they've always been a playoff team, and I expect that to continue. And I'm excited to see, and maybe this gives Adam a little a new life too. Change of scenery. Obviously, no longer a captain. It pressures off him, and now he can just come out here and hit and rob 10 more home runs because
Yeah.
God
Too
knows he
tall.
did it last year.
Too tall. Yeah, and they got to replace Sam Eichenlaub too. With the retiring Sam, we're gonna miss
Yeah,
Sam.
yeah. I forgot about
And
Sam. Dang,
yeah,
I'm sad
yeah,
now.
yeah. I am sad that he's not playing. I love playing with that guy too. He's a great person for the league. But and we know at the end of the day, if the Melonheads don't like their lineup, they're just going to probably rinse somebody for the playoffs.
Yep,
So still a
absolutely. There you
little,
go.
still a little bitter, but that's fine.
Yeah, hey, it happens. Uh,
Yep.
all right, let's talk about the Mojo. They signed back pretty much all of their team last year that they ended the season with, besides obviously Colin going away and Chris Metter still a free agent, but a returning player. Breaking news.
Another breaking news. Hopefully, you're
More
listening to the podcast.
more breaking news. You heard it here first. It's not posted on social, but the return of Bryson Klein took a year off, had a lot of baseball stuff going on, but he is back. I don't know in what type of role yet. I just know that he signed a deal, and we're going to see Bryson Klein and hopefully some more backflips in the outfield.
Oh, no more backflips. That happened to me. I was the one that hit that out that he robbed.
I did not know
Horrible.
that. That makes it even
Yes,
better.
worst ever.
That's it's.
Gosh,
I hope we have a
amazing play.
I hope we have a camera out there this time. That's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see it.
What a play. What a play.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. But Mojo obviously bringing back a team that was the number one seed last year and
Yeah.
lost in a heartbreak fashion for the second straight year. Maybe Bryson's that guy to get him over the hump. We'll see. But this team's just they got the goods, and they're gonna be another force again this year. So
Also have 3 pairs of brothers, correct?
oh my gosh, yeah. Now
What
I
a
didn't
stat.
even put that together. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bryson and Q. our brothers. So three
Uh-huh.
sets of brothers on this team. Wow, that is
Brother
fun.
love.
Wow,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that is awesome. Love to see it. All right, let's get into our last team. A lot of turnover here as well. The Thunderbirds, obviously still led by Andrew Nichols. Um, losing Tony J. Rich is tough.
Yeah.
Still has John Willenbrink.
Yep.
But they bring over Mark Fogler in a trade from the Pilots/Kings now. They get Mark, and I think this is a big and very underestimated move because Mark and Andrew, they've known each other for a long time. We used to all play Little League together. I think that's going to
Okay.
open Mark up a little bit. And, with that Pilots team, especially after losing Caleb, Mark kind of struggled. He struggled having to be the number one guy.
Right.
I feel like there were so many times where he played a great game. He was a good pitcher and a great hitter, and just couldn't never get the job done. Being that one, they were missing that that top tier guy, and I think Mark's going to get a lot more opportunities to shine and really poke through, especially now with Andrew and having that kind
Yes.
of new life. The chemistry of these two is going to be really good, and I think that's just going to help Mark a lot. We've seen how Mark can be a great player, and
Yeah.
now I'm just excited to really see what his true potential could be.
Yeah.
And obviously they bring over Josh Rogers,
Yeah.
former
Another
commissioner,
Archer.
for sure Empire, or former Empire. I don't know what I just said.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
But Josh Rogers
Yep.
now to this team. This is so right now they have four guys
Yeah.
in the third pick in the draft. So I know they're going to be taking somebody, but right now you got four good hitters.
Yeah. Solid.
I mean,
Solid core.
everybody is saying Thunderbirds they're gonna tail off. They're gonna not
Yeah.
be anywhere close to as good as they were last year. Losing Tony and Jay Rich, tough to replace them, yes, but
Correct.
also Andrew, great two-way player, one of the
Yes.
best,
One of the
one of the
best. I have
best
that right here.
pitchers, one of the best
Yep.
pitchers in the league,
Yep.
and a lefty at that, and a great lefty hitter.
Yep.
You got Mark Vogler coming over, another lefty hitter who's
Yep.
good and can be a second arm. You're gonna see John Willenbrink get to pitch more, and he showed he can throw the ball hard. He can get guys out. He can hit the ball well. He's former All-Star. And then you have
Yeah.
Josh Rogers, who All-Star last year out of nowhere learned how to hit. I mean, he was always
Yeah.
a streaky hitter and always had the potential to hit the ball well, but just put it all together last year. And
Yes.
now he's on this team and he gets to help Andrew kind of coach, Mark and John. I think that's a big thing. Josh coming over to help John progress as a
Yeah.
pitcher. Um,
Right.
I think this has the potential to be a really good team. Andrew on the mound obviously is going to give you a chance to win every time he's out there.
Yep.
It's really going to see who's that number two guy and can they get the job done. And I mean, not a team I want to play every week. I don't know if there are really any of those teams anymore, but
Yeah.
they're going to be another good team, and I think Andrew's
Yeah.
going to do a good job here. So
Yeah, it's time for John Willenbrink to shine. He kind of stepped in 2 years ago and was throwing super gas basically,
yeah,
and then we didn't see a whole lot last year. I think his batting average fell off pretty dramatically, but
yeah,
it's fine. This is that year that you see John Willenbrink really step into that number two role pitching and maybe even lead his team in hitting. And Josh Rogers, the Archers kind of got some flack for having the four best hitters in the league, but it was against the pitching and all that.
yeah.
Here's the thing: Josh Rogers hit that average with the Empire. I mean, he was
exactly
on fire. That's why we traded for him.
Yep,
I mean,
exactly.
he provided a bat. Love to see him get back and pitch at some point. I'm not sure if he will, but
Yeah, I doubt it from what I've heard, but
yeah,
it would be
and that's
awesome
unfortunate.
if he could.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. I haven't got to ever face him, so I'd love to do that. But again, hitting, if you can do that, that's fine. And if that's what he's going to focus on now, he did a good job in that last year. So sure, the team's got a solid core of four, and
and
how
a great
that
third
draft,
pick. Yep,
and a great third pick. So you got it.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's get into our last topic of the night. And last up, we have our rookie draft and tryout info. All right, Rory, our last topic of the night. We have our rookie and tryout
Yep.
draft and information. There's still plenty of time for everyone to register. Obviously, we're getting towards late January. Our draft isn't until February 25th. You have up until the 24th to register. So if you know anyone in the league or you're hesitant on whether you want to join or not, we are a pretty friendly group. We have a lot of fun at the field.
Oh yeah.
And we're always just looking to grow and get better and add new players and you never know. Eventually, hopefully, potentially, there could be expansion in the future if it all works out. Logistically, it's
Yeah.
kind of a nightmare right now, but um, for the foreseeable future, we're sticking with our 8 teams. One thing I do want to say is with our rookie draft is we do not have a set number of players that we have to take. Right now, there's like roughly 30 guys that have signed up already. Not everyone is going to get drafted, unfortunately. It's a very select group. It's a tight
Yeah.
group to get into. It's tough. It took me years to get into the SWBL in Sam's league because they're a tight knit group. Obviously, we are too. A lot of our teams already have 5, 6, 7 players. Not saying we're not going to draft people, but
Oh yeah.
there are things that teams are looking for. And even if you don't get drafted, it doesn't mean we didn't think you were good or we weren't interested, and we don't want you to come back because we do. It's all about the timing and how it all kind of plays out. But you still have plenty of time to register, and on February 10th, we are going to have like a tryout slash like workout. We did it last year. It's in the Champions Village in Fenton. Rory, were you there last year?
No, I wasn't. I was not there. No.
I couldn't remember.
Nope.
Uh, we have a big open indoor facility that we are able to have a couple of bullpens set up and also a big open hitting area where we'll do some soft toss and guys can get swings in so we can check out your swings. A lot of people have asked me, what are we going to be doing at this
Right.
tryout? I've got a couple of texts from some of the guys that have registered. Yeah, we're gonna have a designated spot where you can get your swings in. Very similar like what we did with you when we were in the
Yeah.
school gym.
Yep.
This is a big upgrade from that.
Okay.
You're not going to
Good.
be sliding around all over the gym floor.
Right.
We're on a turf baseball facility.
Perfect.
So yeah, really, you can get your swings in. We can see what your swing looks like. The ball jumping off your bat, and then we're gonna have a couple bullpen areas as well, so guys can throw if they want. If they don't want to, they don't have to. If they just want to throw and not hit, that's on them. You can
Right.
do whatever you're comfortable with. Like for me in particular, um, I don't want somebody to go out there and throw 100 pitches.
Right.
I don't need to see 100 pitches in early February in a tryout.
Right. Right.
I'm looking, and this is just me particular. Some guys like to see more, but me in particular, I want to see what your mechanics look like. If you kind of know what you're doing, if you can learn, because we'll be there, we'll help you. We're gonna watch and we're willing. We want to help everybody that's
Sure.
there. We'll show you a few things and help you and give you a couple balls that if you want to use ours or if you have your own, bring your own. If you have your own bat, bring your bat.
Bring
I'll
it.
have some that we use in our league that you're more than welcome to use if you don't have one. But the bullpens, we have the radar gun and we can see, but we're not really worried about speed either. It's all about just
Right.
getting a feel of your talent and what you can kind of bring to the table, and also it's a good indicator for us. We get to meet you and
Right.
really and we get face to face with these guys, and that goes a long way. And if you're not at this tryout, it doesn't mean you're not going to get drafted.
Correct.
But if we don't know anything about you and we've never met you, it's going to be tough. And this is, if you can't make it and you have video of yourself, whether you play in another league or you've played in tournaments or you throw in your backyard or your front yard or your side yard, send that in. I'll show that to everybody, and that could be your workout or whatever. I have a guy that has done that already, and it's just I'm just excited to meet all these new rookies.
Oh yeah.
I know you potentially might not be there, but what do you kind of expect from our tryout, and what are you kind of looking for as a captain and manager? I know Jordan will kind of be watching you as your eyes and ears out there.
Yeah, if I'm able to be there, I'm looking for, who has command on the mound. That's number one. Obviously, wiffle ball is a pitcher's game, so if you have any sort of ability on the mound, I'll be able to spot that pretty quick. And then hitting, I'm not sure, hitting wise what we're looking for, because anybody can usually hit a slow wiffle ball, and if you're not facing a guy throwing 94 like Caleb can, you're not going to be able to tell a whole lot. However, mechanics, like you said, I know some guys came out last year to the tryout and really surprised people with their mechanics. I think Tommy Dwyer was actually one of them.
Yep.
People saw absolutely how well he swings the bat, and it's like, okay, it's only a matter of time before he catches up with one.
Sometimes you can tell the difference in the sound. Like I think that was a big thing. Tony Cochran, when you guys were there.
Oh yeah.
You saw him in the gym. You heard it, and you were like, "Oh,
yes,
okay, I know I can do something with that."
He can hit. Yep, exactly,
and
exactly.
It's possible that if we have some time and guys want to take some live at bats, we might be able to work some of that in. Sure. It just depends on how many guys are there and how much time we have. I'm not sure right now the time that we a lot of time we have, but hopefully we can do that and we can get some live at bats. I think that would be pretty cool.
One thing to add is I think when me and Tony J. Rich showed up to that draft or to the rookie tryout that year, I don't think you guys had exactly decided on what this league was going to have. And then, I'm pretty confident saying this now. We kind of changed everybody's perspective on
absolutely
what's out there. And if you're that guy, come out, because we're looking for that guy. Especially if you live in St. Louis and you can be there. You may vault yourself into the number one overall pick, kind of like what Caleb and Colin both did last year.
Yeah, Caleb and Colin, prime examples. They were never played wiffle ball before. They played in our tournament. They came out to the tryout, learned a few things, and obviously, they had that raw talent there, which was awesome to see. But I'll tell you another guy that was at this tryout last year, James Dutton.
Yeah.
He never played wiffle ball before. We had no idea going in what he was going to be. And he showed up, and on the registration form, he said, I built the strike zone in my backyard and I've been throwing. And you can see that, and people do that and say that, and you really don't know. They could be good, they could not be good. You have no idea. He gets out there and opens some eyes, effortlessly throwing a little bit hard, throwing strike. He was throwing a lot of strikes, and Cole jumped on it, took him early in the draft, and look what he did. He hit an all-star pick, and now he has an ace pitcher that he's locked up for 2 years. Based on this tryout, when he had no idea who he was before, and he had never played before. So a great opportunity here to come out, to show us what you got, and hopefully we can get you in. And I do hate that we can't take everyone. Obviously,
I know.
The biggest question I get is, well, can't you add another team? Because we have so many guys, but it's logistically impossible with what we have, and maybe in the future, but still, if you're good enough, or you bond, or whatever it may be,
you never know,
and being there in person is going to help a lot.
Absolutely.
We just love to have new guys in the league, especially because not everybody comes back every year, and some guys just want to add other players and new players and better players or what have you. So
Yep.
it's going to be interesting. I'm very excited to see it. I'm very excited to meet everybody and put a couple faces to names, because all
Sure.
I see is your names in my phone right now. But I'm very excited. I cannot wait for February 10th. It's only a couple weeks away. But that just means like wiffle ball season's right around the corner, and
Right there,
that
man.
excites me even more.
We're close. It's getting close.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. Um, so yeah, if you haven't, even if you don't want to register right away and you want to come check out the tryout
Yeah.
first, and
Yeah.
you can do that. I'm not, we're not going to turn anybody away from that. We want to see what you got and see you play, and then, and then we can talk and we can decide on the future. So, and then,
Yeah.
a big thing that I want to get into, that I think is going to be really exciting is our draft. February 25th. It is on a Sunday. Everyone's going to be invited this year. Talked to a couple guys throughout the idea, and I think we love the idea of getting everyone together before the season starts. When you guys joined the league, we did that whole redraft and had a big event, and
Yeah, we loved it. It was
it was
great.
a huge hit. Last year's draft was very small, and we just did, we got together as captains and did a video for it, and there wasn't much to it. This year, changing back to what we did in year 2, and want to get everybody together. Obviously, it's going to be a smaller draft. We don't know how many guys are going to get selected. It could be 2, it could be 5, it could be 10, it could be 15. Who knows?
Correct.
We won't know until the day of how many guys are going to get drafted. But not only are we going to invite the rookies to be drafted, obviously knowing the fact that they may not get drafted, which we contemplated, do we want to do that and put that at risk? But I mean, obviously, like,
Right.
I just feel like it is kind of the better thing, and you can have a sense, what you're kind of feeling after that tryout or whatnot, or maybe you can talk to some of the captains there or whatever, and get an idea if you want to show up or not, and or just support, hang out with the group. And it also, that's a good way to build relationships to get in even next year. Obviously, like, it took me a couple of years to get into the Skibby Wiffle Ball League. Like, it's
Great.
going to start being the same thing here. It's going to be harder to get into whether you're a good player or not, because we already have the bonds and the relationships built over the past couple of years. So,
Yep. That's
but
exactly inevitably how it goes.
also, with that, we're going to invite all of our player base. So all of our players currently in the league are going to be invited. And before the draft, we are going to have a winter meeting, which we have never done before. I think it's going to be a good idea to get everyone together and to go over everything that we have discussed over the off season. So all the changes going
Right.
into next year, instead of just
Yep.
putting out a podcast, or which I'm sure we'll talk about those
We'll
changes
do
in a
that too.
podcast.
Yeah.
But this just gives, face to face, we get to go have a good time, have a couple beers, get everyone together before the season. But yeah, we'll go over everything. I've already got a whole list of stuff typed up. And I keep adding to it, every couple of days. But I think it's just going to be a fun event. And like, that's, we're all kind of a group and like a family, and anytime we can all get together on one night, because we're not all at the field every single week. So, and when we are, we're playing, we don't get that bonding time to like hang out and do kind of other things. So I think this will be a fun thing to do for everybody. What do you think about
Right.
it?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. That draft in 22 for me, man, was like it brought me back. Like I loved it. It brought me back to being a kid, made me feel like I was 18 again, just like
Yeah.
doing the coolest things, man. Because as you get older, life happens and stuff like that. But that was a good time. It was fun. It was well done. And I think if we get back to that, it would be the league would benefit from it greatly. So
Yeah, I'm very, very excited for it.
yeah,
Got a couple things planned for it already.
good.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Still looking and planning for a venue. Don't have that nailed down yet. I got a couple ideas in mind that I need to reach out and talk to a couple guys and see what we can do. But I don't see us having an issue finding a venue that will host us. And once that comes out, I mean, everyone will know I'm going to send out an invite form. And if you're going to go, you can let me know. And but I took that poll on our group me, and overwhelmingly seemed like everyone was on board. So definitely going to be a hit, I think. So very much looking forward to it.
Me too, man. It's going to be a good time.
All right. 2024 fastly approaching. We're not going to do this every week, obviously. Maybe once or twice a month leading up to the season, we'll get on here. I do want to get on here early February for you guys. At the end of January, our top 15 player ranking will finish up if you haven't been following along. But our next episode, we're going to break it all down 1 through 15. Who just missed out on the top 15? Who do we think got misplaced or left off, or whatever? We're going to break it all down. I think it'll be fun. What do you think, Rory?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I know there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of people disgruntled, too high, too low. I don't think anybody thought they were ranked too high, but maybe too low.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, man. And, and those things, man, that makes the league fun. It gives you something to talk about. And you know what? I don't even know where I was ranked. 13, I think. I was ranked too low for my own opinion. Again, one of the guys complaining. I'm going to be ranked higher. That's the goal, man. Get better. I want to prove everybody that put me there wrong. And everybody should have that same mindset, I believe. Let's come out and prove the naysayers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let a naysayer know.
A little I love it. Little Alabama hint there. No, I a little fun off-season content that I thought would be cool going into the season. So Sam does it with his league, and I was like, I want to get on board with that. So
love it. Yep.
We'll be on here in a couple of weeks talking about that. Can't wait. I love talking about all of our players and everything. So but yeah, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and glad to be back talking about wiffle ball. It means the season's coming up quick. So keep on following along with our social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Tom's doing a great job with our TikTok. I guess it's not Twitter anymore. It's X, whatever. Anything, any social media that I could think of, we're probably on it. I'm posting like daily right now. So putting in a lot of work. So please check us out, follow us, like all of our stuff. Please like all of our stuff, especially guys in our league. Please, we could get so many more. Just it's a like.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do.
That's it.
If you see it, hey, I like that. We should be getting I'm a little disappointed. I feel like a lot of you guys see our stuff and all you gotta do 2 seconds, just tap the button, please, for us.
Throw the like.
Yep, absolutely. So thanks for following along here. Appreciate you guys listening. Like I said, I'm Cam Smith. That's Rory Rank, and we're out.